Good morning, Bill. And Forley, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Vaggie. Thank you for being here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kelly. Canito. Good morning, team. Team T Crew. Good morning, Mr. Newman. Good morning. It's so good to see you here on a little more regular basis. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Roy. Haven't seen Roy in a minute. Good morning, Roy. There's a good guy. Good morning. Good morning, Sue. Sir D. Good morning, Sir D. Sir D, I slept really well last night, so I missed your 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time program. But it pops up on my YouTube, so I'm going to watch it after the program today. Let's see what you're doing out there. You sure looking handsome, by the way. Good morning, everybody. Derek's doing it. Good morning, Wazzy. Waz, you crack me up. No, you look good, Derek. Seriously. See if we can find a picture of you. Look at Derek. You look like a priest, Derek. That's Derek on his show last night.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Derek with Miss Journey's Church. Welcome to this evening's Bible study. Tonight we're going to talk
Pretty cool. I'm going to watch it. I haven't seen it.
a few different things.
But I already look like I'm going to be going to confession at Father Derek's. Kind of cool. The best part about that is we can all have our own beliefs. And we still all love each other. Derek, don't laugh. You look great. Let me show that one more time to you guys out there.
Shall evil dwell with thee? The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
Bill is waiting for Joan of Arc to show up.
The Lord will abhor bloody and deceitful.
Good morning, everybody. I think it's important that we support each other with these programs. Doesn't he look good, Laura? Tell Derek he looks good. We'll critique his content later. No, I'm kidding. HP, you guys keep doing what you're doing. You got a deal going tonight, right? Don't you guys have a program tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? I'll set the alarm. Mystic Journeys Church. Go check them out, you guys. Go check them out. Lynette, I missed your birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to the pretty Lynette. Happy birthday. We sure hope she can get everything that she wants and a few things that she needs. Happy birthday, Lynette. Happy birthday. Laws, we would have had to do something to him if he was wearing a Bruins jersey. Now, were he wearing a Detroit Red Wings jersey, perhaps we wouldn't mind so much. Okay? And we do not care about the Blackhawks. Not at this end. Good morning, everybody. NERS, Dakes is an incredibly good resource. I remember back in the day, it's very annotated. Dakes was a lawyer back in the day. And he organized the Bible almost along legal scholar lines. Really, that's good, Mark. Really good resource, the Dakes Bible, if you're Bible shopping. The Thomas Bible, too. Another really good Bible. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here this morning. I certainly have my load of sleep. HB, let's do it another day. I had a little bit of stuff planned here for today. You know what? Maybe the last few minutes. We'll see. Okay, big guy. There's a couple of things I wanted to cover here today. But you're always welcome. If anybody ever has anything... Oh, JWO, and there's a lot of really well done, well-researched Bibles. Vague, they're more like myths and legends than lies. Okay? But again, we're not going to get into religion. We support all theological thoughts. It's what you do with them that matters. So I'm definitely better. I got a load of sleep yesterday that I really needed. I hadn't slept well for the last 2 nights. And then I loaded up on my sleep yesterday. Literally took the day off. Took the day off and I laid low, Queenie. And then this morning I got a beautiful little note from your lovely wife, Queenie. That's me, Nerdy, under the weather a little bit there. Wish you quick healing. Right, Queenie? Lovely wife. Good morning. Sammy P says a lot of us are feeling sick lately. Nerdy. Actually, you're thinking of the Vegas, you're thinking of the King James version, and that was 1617. He got a bunch of the greatest scholars in the world together, and he said, let's redo that thing they called the Bible back then. And they had a conclave, spent a year, and they came out of it with the King James version. 1617. That's when the King James version is dated to. One of the major advantages of the King James was they did a very good job of translating the Hebrew, Old Hebrew, to English. And then that's followed up because Gutenberg had the printing press. Now all of a sudden we could start printing that thing, and it made it more available to the masses. And we didn't have to just listen to priests about it. I know you're thinking of Constantine, Emperor Constantine. but it was kind of a different era. Anyways, I got a little history behind me on that business. One of the greatest things about that we finally got a printing press, and we could put the word out to a lot of people, and it wasn't just to the monks in the monasteries, and it led to the Lutheran revolution. People started reading the Bible, and now you had a million different people, and they were all interpreting it in their own light. And Herbie's right, not even everybody could read. 5 to 10% of the population in 1617 could actually read. Pretty crazy. Speaking of reading scores, the United States isn't doing so good in that area. We're graduating kids from high school that can't pass literacy tests. I'm kind of with HP. I don't care if you believe in Barney. Yeah. What happened with Anthony's friend? Let's see. I see, Anthony. I'm really sorry to hear that. Doing the whippet, huh? Never gone close to that business there. Just say no to nitrous. Terry, that's a good thing. Good for Tennessee. Good job, Tennessee. Let's make sure they can read before you put them on to the next grade. It's only reasonable. Good morning, everybody. I understand that raised Catholic jumped into fundamental Christianity. Jumped in, and I spent 30 years swimming in that pond. Good morning, everybody. So, yesterday, 1 o'clock in the morning, I received a phone call from the West Coast. And a little bit of background. I had been knowing this individual. I'm going to tell you his first name, Ramon. Ramon, incredibly charismatic, intelligent, handsome as could be, well-built. African-American fella that I had met when I was working in the Los Angeles metropolitan area. And I had a cabinet shop, and I had a remodeling business. And I was looking for helpers. And this guy came in to interview, and he blew me away at the interview. This is one sharp kid. I say kid because he was about 15 years younger than me. I hired him on the spot. I said, when can you go to work? Within 6 months, he was foreman on some of my job sites. I had him being the foreman. But we had an interest in common, and it was riding motorcycles. And you guys might crack up at this. So he would ride his bike to work. Every once in a while, I'd bring mine in. I had a Kawasaki 900 at the time. And we'd go out for sprint rides at lunch, and maybe once in a while after work. And this guy was by far the best trick rider I had ever seen in my life. Personally. I mean, there's people out there doing it professionally, but this guy was from the hood, and he was a trick rider. And I was like, wow, teach me some of those tricks. How do I do them? So he started teaching me some trick riding. He said, you know what you should do? He called me Pops. He said, you know what you should do, Pops? Come to one of my club meetings. And he told me it was like at a diner or something, 7 o'clock at night. All of the guys in his club show up at the parking lot, and then they get in a big circle, and then they start doing tricks inside this circle. There must have been 35 to 40 motorcycle riders there with their bikes. I was the only white guy. I'm looking around going, are you sure you want me here, Ramon? He goes, Pops, you gotta be here. These people are gonna love you. Okay? And I was about 10 years older than maybe the oldest one in the group. They took me into their group, to their club, made me an honorary member. I even got a patch. Made me an honorary member, and I started doing trick riding. I wasn't very good compared to them, but I did a couple of pretty decent tricks. This is the kind of guys that you saw going down the freeway. There was a group of 40 of them, and they're like doing wheelies down the freeway, wheelies at 60, 70 miles an hour. All of us, crazy kids, and I wasn't even a kid. But all of us out there, one little mistake and you could wipe out the whole gang. But we didn't care. Okay? It wasn't a Mexican restaurant, Kim. It was like a diner, like a Denny's or a Tiny Nailers or something like that. Okay? But the inclusiveness of it is what drew me. I was like the only white guy, and I was like their token old man white guy in the group. And it felt good. It always feels good to be involved. It always feels good to be included. And especially when you're crossing racial lines like that with no judgment, nothing like that. Later on, when I started getting out of my end of the construction business, I was looking for what can I do for Ramon. Ramon's been my right-hand man for years, 2 or 3, almost going on 4 years. I go, Ramon, what do you want to do with your life ultimately? He goes, Pops, I want to own a trucking company. I said, well, then let's do it. So we sent him to a truck driving school to learn how to, get your certificate, get your CDL, and become a commercial truck driver. So that was the direction he headed while I moved in a different direction. But we remained very close, especially while I was on the West Coast. We'd run into each other all the time, hang out, and I'd ride with the group. It was really quite something. So he sent him off. He couldn't afford the school, but I had a little extra. I go, let me get you your license. So he was driving truck for a company, and he was like, Pops, I can make so much more money if I owned my own truck. Well, let's figure that out. How do we get you a truck? So we got him a truck. And he made all the payments and everything, but I was the guy behind the scenes for him. And he married this most beautiful girl, 2 gorgeous children. And I was invited all the time to their Thanksgivings and Christmas dinners, all the time. That's when I learned to like soul food. Okay. I loved soul food. Collard greens, let me tell ya. They know what they're doing. The collard greens are great when they're home cooked. So, again, at those kind of gatherings, I was like the token white guy. But I felt right being there. crossing those lines and not having these social judgments that we have. It was beautiful. So I was, the cornbread too, for sure, herbs. But cook a little bit different. Took a little bit for your palate to get used to. I'm just reliving my time with Ramon with you guys right now. Is that okay with you guys? So his trucking company was doing so good. Right, Kim? You know what it feels like to be token. His company was he was doing so good as a solo operator. He said, Pops, we could really do better if I had a second truck. I said, okay, let's get that second truck going. We got him a second truck, and he hired a driver. So he had a trucking company that was going, only 2 trucks, but he was very busy because they would deliver something and they'd pick something up at that delivery point and bring it back. So they did their very best in their dispatching to never have an empty truck, to always have a load going either direction. And I picked the right guy to stand behind, let me tell you. He never once in his whole life let me down. I never let him down. It can be, Bill. It can be a problem when you start hiring. If you've got to really know what you're doing and hire a like-minded person. But his driver, I think he had 2 drivers over the period, were both really reliable and good employees for him. To make a long story short, I hadn't seen Ramon in almost 3 years. I moved out here almost 6 years ago, but we hooked up one time about 3 years ago, hung out, reminded each other how much we loved each other, and then we text back and forth sporadically over the time. And it was the phone call that I received, it was probably about 10 o'clock West Coast time, 1 o'clock my time, the 1 a.m. yesterday morning, that I got the news that Ramon had passed away. I think he's like 55, and he's got the wife, and he's got the 2 kids. They're adults now. And I'm really feeling for the family. We're reaching out to them and making sure that they're going to be okay. But that was one of those lifetime close friends that you would do anything for. Anything. And it just broke my heart. I was supposed to go before him. I was supposed to go before my buddy Ramon. But it shows you what kind of friends you can make, and it doesn't matter what the color of our skin is, whether we believe the same religions. He was a Muslim. Whether we believe the same religions, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much you help each other, how kind you are to each other. And can you be a lesson for another person? And so, R.I.P. Ramon. R.I.P. Ramon, my guy. I should get out my vest and show you guys my patch. I definitely worked on his life with him, HB, but he did the work. I was just there as a guide. But old Ramon, you wouldn't believe the guy could have been a male model. Just handsome and forthright and good. Just a good person. I'll try to get out the vest and show you guys. Pops is the only white guy in the whole group. They're like, "Oh, go, Pops, go!" I'd get up. My trick of fame, we had locks on our throttle. You could put a custom lock on your throttle and get your throttle up to 35, 40 miles an hour and lock it. And I would get up and stand on the seat of my bike, look ma no hands as it's going, on the freeway with this group. Plus, of course, you could do the wheelies and all of that too. But these guys were doing some trick riding you would not believe. It was a beautiful time. Really looked forward to our, it was like a cruise control on your bike, Billy. Really looked forward to our club meetings. Some crazy kids. So it's a wonder I'm alive today. It's a wonder. Four-leaf, it was a 900, Kawasaki 900 Ninja. It was a little bit older bike, but it was like brand new because I was constantly updating it and stuff like that. I surfed my bike, Wazzy. That's exactly right. I was surfing my bike. Yeah, it's wonderful times. And I miss my Ramon now. I didn't get to see him enough in the last few years. Definitely crotch rockets. Biker Boys. I'll have to check that out, Joe D's. Here we go. Added to that was, over the weekend, lost contact with somebody that you guys had been hearing a little bit of rumbling from me about. Somebody that I was helping in a recovery program. Went to their first meeting with them, actually the first 6 or 7 in a row, so they'd feel comfortable going to meetings. And then I was like, okay, you can go on your own now. Oh yeah, I think I can do it. So person went on their own, and they had celebrated a 30-day chip, and they were up to I would say 45 to 50 days of sobriety. And the last I heard from them was Christmas, when I wrote to them and said Merry Christmas and had a little Christmas text. I wrote to the person at New Year's, Happy New Year, and I didn't get a reply on the text. And I had an instant bad feeling. Immediately, I got Spidey vibes. Normally this person would have replied. I would have thought. No reply. The next day, send another little text. How you doing? But you don't want to dive in. You don't want to make assumptions. Agreement number 3. And I know, Kim, it is. And I didn't hear from him. Didn't hear from him. Found out 3 days ago that the person had relapsed. It's tough, man. It's tough. When you're in addictions, I mean, you're dead, buried in your addiction, to climb out of that hole. It's tough. So, we think we're going back to meetings now. I might even have to take a ride down. Well, that's my message, Kim. The person wants to live in the shame of the relapse instead of just, okay, it happened. Everybody knows it's a rough one. You relapse, you get back on the horse the next day, get back to a meeting. Call a sponsor. What are the hardest addictions to kick? What are they? According to the internet, I looked it up this morning. Relapse can be part of recovery, but it's not necessary, right, Kim? You don't have to relapse to recover. But because you relapsed doesn't mean you can't recover, right? According to the internet, the hardest addictions to kick. I think they make a big mistake here by not including food. We can eat food addictively. And that's an incredibly tough one because you have to eat. I don't have to drink alcohol. I don't have to live. I think they make a mistake by not including eating. But according to the list, here are some of the hardest drugs to quit. Heroin and prescription painkillers. Cocaine. Methamphetamine and crystal meth. Benzodiazepines. Nicotine. Alcohol. Let's look at those for just a second. Considered the number one most addictive is cocaine. The study found cocaine to be the most addictive substance based on its powerful effect on the brain. Cocaine is a potent stimulant that is characterized by bursts of extreme happiness, focus, energy, and alertness. But it can also cause irritability and paranoia when misused. Do you remember staring out the window? Pulling the blinds open and you're doing the people leap? Remember that? What addiction has the highest relapse rate? Research shows that alcohol and opioids have the highest rates of relapse, with both over 80%. That was only after 3 days, Joe. 3 days. Here's some more. Coffee, addictive. Tobacco and nicotine. Sex addiction. Gambling. According to this list, gambling's number 7. Here's one that's making the addiction tables now. Here's the ones making the addiction table now. The internet. We're getting addicted to the internet. I can say I was close. I might have even been when I was posting 16 posts a day on IG. When I first figured out IG, when I first started using it. I liked the likes. The internet. Cell phones in general. Video games. Video games. Bill's making a good point. Codependency is an addiction. Bubble, I'm with you. I loved IG at first, but then it's too much. So the last 2, 3, or 4 days for me, I didn't sleep well. And you guys could see it yesterday. I beg your an apology for having been just really not available yesterday. My best was to go to bed. Your best isn't always going to be that you climbed Mount Everest. Sometimes, Pops, your best is go to bed and catch up on your sleep. That was my best yesterday. So it's time for some intellectual honesty. We've spent the last few years watching psilocybin clinical trials post response rates north of 50%, while researchers pat themselves on the back. But the thing about clinical trials is they're actually designed to succeed. They often screen out the messy cases, like people with multiple comorbidities, or people who have failed 14 different antidepressants. To qualify for some of these clinical trials, you have to be sick in just the right way. "37 years, I'm going on 38 years of no cocaine." This is why there's new data that's coming in from Switzerland that matters. Researchers tracked real patients with treatment-resistant depression. They got between 1 and 4 doses of psilocybin, anywhere between 20 and 35 milligrams, under the country's limited medical use program. Here's how they did. I want you to know that just eating a psilocybin mushroom is not going to cure your addiction. That's just part of it. There has to be work done to integrate your experience with your addiction and with your issues. There has to be integration. Originally, you're taking that psilocybin molecule for an intention. What is your intention? I just want to feel good. Okay. Then that's what you're going to get from this. I want to find out, I want to get in touch with a past PTSD, something, what that trauma was, get to the root of the trauma, and then be able to explore it and remove it from my psyche. Psilocybin dose. You're going to get a different effect. Here's what happened in the Switzerland program. Significant drops. Depression scores fell 11 points on clinician ratings and 9 points on self-reports. These are large and clinically meaningful sizes. 33% of the patients responded on clinician measures, 28% on self-reports, and 28% hit full remission. Most improvement came after the first dose. Additional sessions maintained gains, but didn't add much. Headaches and fatigues were the main complaints for side effects. These are really good results for patients who had essentially run out of options. On average, the patients in this clinical trial had already cycled through 5 antidepressants to no avail. They were also dealing with anxiety, PTSD, and personality disorders on top of their chronic depression. For this trial, no one made them stop their regular medications for those things. Some clinical trials, you can't be on anything. Well, that's not the real world all the time. Psilocybin still helped these people. This is some of the first real-world evidence on psilocybin therapy outside controlled research settings. The real results may not match the glossy numbers that you see in some of the other clinical trials, but these are the real numbers for some of the trickiest, realist patients. Can we count this as a breakthrough? Is this what a breakthrough actually looks like? Thank you, Gage. I appreciate you being here this morning. Let's get real with one another. Intention. What is your intention, psilocybin users? It's key. I sound like a fuddy-duddy. I'm not telling you don't enjoy. I'm telling you that there's a greater psilocybin. It's one of the most amazing molecules that nature's ever created, that the Tao has ever brought to us. I like to see it used for positivity. Let's go to the Tao this morning. Tao Te Ching. This was written, it was a group of 81 verses written by a fellow called Lao Tzu, Chinese philosopher, 2,500 years ago. Blows my mind how pertinent it is still to this day. I love your guys' comments. Keep talking to each other. Keep talking to each other here. I'm reading your comments, and what you guys are saying back and forth to each other is huge. So keep it up. Right? Kind of like what HP said. You're not dealing with street shrooms anymore. You're getting these from growers who care and are making a banging product. Love it. I'm going to look at the 15th verse of the Tao Te Ching today. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. One can only describe them vaguely by their appearances. Watchful, like men crossing a winter stream. Alert, like men aware of danger. Simple, as uncarved wood. Hollow, like caves. Yielding, like ice about to melt. Amorphous, like muddy water. But the muddiest water clears. as it is stilled. And out of that stillness, life arises. He who keeps the Tao does not want to be full. But precisely because he is never full, he can remain like a hidden spout and does not rush to early ripening. And any you guys notice how Lao Tzu looks at nature and uses nature as the metaphor for all of his teachings? That's because the nature is the Tao. Tao is the nature. Mother Nature. This 15th verse speaks of ancient masters. What cracks me up is, why are all masters ancient? Do we have any current masters? I want to be a current master. And I don't want to be a master because I want to big shot it to somebody. I want to be a master because I want to master my life. My life. And in mastering my own, I pray for an attraction. I pray to be attractive. But not the hypocrite attractive one, the real world one. Master electrician, huh, Corey? That's a good job. I was a master carpenter in the union. The unions that have masters, apprentice, journeyman masters. Why did I pick carpentry? Why did I go into carpentry? Had a couple of really good educations. Number one, when you're a master at one of those skill trades, you can make a lot. You can often make more money than people with the degree that are paying off their college tuition. But Herbie, that was the reason. Because Jesus was a carpenter. The 15th verse speaks of ancient masters who enjoyed an indescribably profound level of cooperation with their world. Lao Tzu uses similes to dramatize the flexible and peaceful lives of these sages. Imagine crossing an icy winter stream that might crack at any moment, remaining cautious and watchful, while at the same time alert to imminent danger. These descriptors paint a picture of those who live unhurriedly, but who are also profoundly aware in that state. Consider the two ways of being presented in this verse of the Tao Te Ching. First, to meld into, and therefore become at one with your immediate surroundings. And to then stay simultaneously so relaxed that your stillness allows all things around you to settle, resulting in better clarity. Keep alert and subtly aware, yet at the same time stay still within, not rushing, not demanding, but totally in charge of your inner world. The passage of the Tao that reminds me of these words from the Bible, Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. The place of your origination is stillness, from which all creation comes. Stay in a creative, simple state, which Lao Tzu describes as uncarved wood. That is so beautiful. Stay as simple as uncarved wood. Symbolizes a beginner's mind and the unlimited potential that we have. Uncarved wood. There's unlimited potential that each of us have. But we'll never know that until we get still. Get out of the chase. Get out of the race. Get out of the rut. Get out of the world and its expectations that are phony as hell. You want to get out of an addiction? Be still. Don't listen to that inner voice that isn't healthy. Don't go to places that'll allow you to slip. Don't go near the things that you're trying to heal and avoid. Be still. Have a mind that's willing to flow with life and be shaped by the external forces. Good morning, Nellie. See yourself as all of these things mentioned in the 15th verse. Be watchful, yet relaxed and peaceful. Be alert, yet unhurried and confident. Be yielding, yet be willing to be still and wait for the waters to become clear. You can't go into a mud puddle, jump around in it, and expect it to be a clear puddle. When you stop jumping and you just stand there, look down, the water will start to clear. The mud settles to the bottom, and now you can see. But we run, we chase, we grasp, we race. That's what the Western civilization has told us. You want to get somewhere? Chase, race. Be like the people on the billboards. Nature doesn't do that. Nature's as rhythmic as it could ever be. 24 hours, boom, new day. 24 hours, boom, new day. And each day is filled with its own timing and its own space. Look around. This verse should remind you that through nature, everything will become clear. Your purpose. What's my purpose? I don't know what I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm going to do. Your purpose is to stay in harmony with nature. Like the sprout hidden beneath the surface of the ground. I don't even know it's going to come up, pop up. But there are sprouts underground. There's mycelium under my top level of casing in my grow house. I don't have to do a thing. It will surface. It will become clear. I see it in my tubs every day. I go to my grow house. Your purpose to stay in harmony with that. I was reading something 2 days ago. The guy was talking about his growing tech. And everything in the growing tech that he mentioned was aimed at speeding up the process. Well, if you do it like this, you'll get your fruit faster. When I first started growing mushrooms, that was exactly my method. I want more faster. The shrooms laughed at me and then turned green. They absolutely cackled at me. That isn't how to grow more and faster. How to grow is to stay simple and just do one step at a time. It took me a year, an intense year, where I was working out of my basement lab, and I lived down there. And I was also at the time trying to be the biggest big shot. I'm going to come up with the best casing that ever existed. I'm going to create this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to get more money, and I'm going to get... I laugh at myself now, in a good way. I also pat myself on the back. Remember last week we talked about admit that you're great? Well, it was sure great that I changed that. It was sure great that somewhere along the line, the universe kicked to me that this is medicine, Pops. This isn't profit. This is nature you're dealing with, Pops. Not cabinetry. Where the more cabinets I put on the wall, the more money I can make. That's the world. Waiting. The little sprouts, our mycelium, are waiting unhurriedly to emerge and fulfill its destiny. It cannot be rushed, nor can anything in nature. Creation takes place on its own timetable. The metaphor is clear here as well. You, me, we are unfolding in divine order, unfolding exactly as nature designed us to. I don't have enough. You have exactly the amount nature has divinely ordered you to have right now. All that you require will be provided, but it's going to come in an unhurried fashion. It's not going to come at human speed. That's not how it comes. I forced everything in my life. I forced my way to the front. I forced my way to the top. I forced my way to the win. And none of it was satisfying. But you got the biggest, you finished first. You got this, you got all this. And I look around and I still had an empty hole. All that you require will be provided in the perfect unfolding of the Tao. An unhurried fashion. What nature asks of us is to remain in a state of watchful gratitude and align with it. Watchful gratitude. That's how I approach my tubs today. Watchful gratitude, and nature will provide. In attempting to access the mind and the intentions of Lao Tzu, here's what I believe he would say to us today. Stop chasing your dreams. What? We've been taught all our lives, go chase your dream. You know what the real message is? Be still, be kind, be patient. Align yourself with the divine nature in you, and your dreams will come to you. You don't have to go chase it. It's like you're chasing something that you're never going to catch. Stand still. Let it catch you. We never thought for a moment that my dream of being Pop Shrooms would be what it is today. I stood still. I did my part, and my dream is catching me. Allow them, your dreams, to come to you in their perfect order, in their unquestioned timing. Slow down your frantic pace and practice being hollow like the cave and open to all possibilities like the uncarved wood. Make stillness a daily practice of your daily regimen. Stillness. Imagine all that you'd like to experience in life, and then let it go. Trust the Tao to work in divine perfection. It does with everything else on the planet. The trees aren't chasing anything. The flowers don't have a dream that they can't attain. Nature brings out their divine purpose, their inner beauty, without any spectacular help from the plant itself. We're the only thing in nature that pushes nature. Everything else abides, but we haven't figured that out yet. We're still with Madison Avenue telling us we can get it if we chase it hard enough. And then when you didn't get it, well, it's your fault. They always have an out. Nature doesn't need an out. You don't need to rush or force anything. Be an observer and receive, rather than be a pushy director in your life. When I'm a pushy director, generally it never works out. It doesn't. What I thought I was going to get isn't what I get. Because I was pushy. Stepping back, observing, being a part of, rather than being the biggest big shot. Just be one of the members. That's what I call servant leadership. I believe in leading from behind, not from the front. I believe in leading from behind, or from within. Be a member and be such a positive force in your membership that if it's your dream to lead, you will become the leader. Nature will lift you up to that. It is through this unhurried unfolding that you master your existence. Get in the flow of life and allow yourself to gently, very gently, proceed down the stream of life. Give up struggling and start trusting in the wisdom of nature. What is yours will come to you when you aren't trying to push the river. You've probably been encouraged to actively direct and go after all your desires in life. But now I'm telling you, it's time to trust in the eternal wisdom that flows through us. The Way of Life According to Lao Tzu, translated by Witter Binin in 1944, poetically sums up the 15th verse in this way. How can a man's life keep its course if he will not let it flow? Those who flow as life flows know they need no other force. They feel no wear. They feel no tear. They need no mending and no repair. Great advice for living an unhurried life. Chasing a 30-day chip, chasing a 60-day chip, chasing a 90-day chip in your recovery. So really your goal is to get a chip. Chasing. What if you just went to the meeting, listened, observed, found out where that lines up with your divine nature, and went with the flow? Like Calico says, one day at a time. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening today. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm glad I'm out of my bed. I had a real rough day yesterday, just with the person I was working with, and then my friend Ramon, and it was just a couple of things bombed on me, and I just needed to go turtle yesterday. I needed to not hurry yesterday. Does that make sense? I needed to not hurry. Slow down. I needed that verse. I needed that verse, and I needed to share it with you guys today. Thank you, Niffer, and thank you for your really very, very sweet note on my TM. You are a sweet doll of a person. Thank you guys. 4 things I'd like to remind the group. Be impeccable with your word and your actions. Nature is impeccable. Nature does not make mistakes. Nature does not miss the mark. Doesn't. Nature also doesn't have a personality where it's going to take something personal. Number 2. Be like nature. Don't take anything personal. Number 3, don't make assumptions or have expectations. Nature doesn't even bother with that. You know what nature does? Does what HP just said. It always does its best. Today's the best. Tomorrow won't be better. The next day won't be better, better, better. Each day, nature is going to deliver its best. I know that to be true because I've lived almost 68 years now, and I'm starting to observe. Thank you all again for being here, you guys. We're having a great day. Take the message and go slow down. Stop chasing. Everything will come to you. Might have to wait till you're 68, but it'll come. Niffer, thank you. I'm going to scroll you guys out. HP, Niffy, Sammy P, Kimberly with no expectations. Jesus Christ in Australia. Derek Anderson, Niffy and Headbuster. Thank you, HB. Niffy and Aaron. Some people call him Aaron. I love saying that. I hope it's not offensive. Green Killer, Kimberly. Kimberly's reminding Pops he's only responsible for himself. Thank you for that reminder, Kim. Billy T and Jesus and Jessie Girl. And HB and Calico Meow Kitty. And Joey D's and Herbie. Herbie says recharge days. They're good for you. Nippy. I resemble that remark. Oreo and Zozo LSD and Jesse. I'm definitely feeling better, Jesse. A lot less coughing today, right, guys? Derek Anderson. Herbie Von Werby, Kabroken Furby Kabop. Sue Little. Aaron and Mark and Nippy and Billy D. And HP and Jesus Christ and Jesse. And Cleany. And Sue. And Sammy P. and Sarah Bear. Every time I see Sarah Bear, I want to hug stuffed animal. I don't know why, but I do. Cleany and Jesus Christ and Billy T. And Marky Z. Niffy and Jesus and Trenty the Trenterson. Trent, thank you for that lovely note yesterday. Very, very kind. Trent ran down a whole list of things that he recommended that would be good for my health. Very, very good list that he sent me. Thank you, Trenty. Derek Anderson, Mello, I love you. Jonathan Taylor, have a great day. Mello, that's really sweet of you. Cleaning in Pidgey Page. Good morning, Pidge. Have a wonderful day. Mr. Phillips. And I'm just trying to get some names I haven't seen. Mike Barabal. There's my Mikey. You guys remember how handsome Mike is? Vaggie, you have a wonderful day, dear. Sammy P. Cyber Jolie. Jolie, I hope your year has started out as wonderful as you are. Jesus and Billy and Mike and Joe D's. And who else? Shroom Digger. I feel like he would be really good at foraging. Call me crazy. And we're down to the very end. Pop's Peace. Love. Kindness. Service. Gratitude. Leadership. Sharing. Caring. But not hurrying. Not chasing. Pops out.